Welcome back to the studio. I'm sure if you're a Ghanaian, you might be very familiar with chop bar operators. They play a major role in Ghana's social life. They provide very essential service of food, employing several people and encouraging patronage of locally grown farm produce. Now, let's watch this World Bank produced video showing chop bar operators at Agbopoloshi Market, showing appreciation for the support they received from the World Bank funded Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises project.
Program na make what they have here. What nice say baba o. E hani wonu chimo, e sheri, e gbelemi, e lemi, tukwe, e akolo da na chioni. Don't to ni masusun, kanu chimo ba shino me nche skaka wo mi. Jeja akolo. Anybody madam esimaha.
Business Development Services Fund. We pay 50% of the cost of contracting a technical expert or a consultant to work with the SMEs to address whatever challenges they are facing.
The Business Development Fund enables us to work with women entrepreneurs in the food sector. We started working with the Indigenous Caterers Association of Ghana.
Anukwali gbemeni a training ye Ghana tradition me ba fe gbeme oha. Se say e training ya who say they receive customers. Ama customers no abatin first no. E say yenya ofaso training na ye ko no.
The 8-based training program is a skills-based training program. It has 4 models, and they are very innovative, practical, and also case-based. It uses the traditional setting for learning, and it helps the women to identify with the challenges and learn quickly and apply the lessons learned.
Adisiana me bae no aboa me bebre me start say me ti sikade to o ma madwuma no me nkodwo mu enko free enioma biem enti ama madwuma na emu abue
Omumma ye more education senya be ye adwuma no betumi akoso.
It is the hope of the project that this kind of intervention will help our small and medium enterprises appreciate the need to bring in technical experts to work with them on a process consultancy basis to address problems and difficulties that they face in running their business on a day-to-day basis.
Welcome back to Joe News Exclusive. I'm joined in the studio now to my immediate left by Kofi Boateng Ajin, who is Senior Private Sector Development Specialist at the World Bank office here in Accra. And then next to him I have Francis Kusi. Francis Kusi is the MSME Project Coordinator from the Ministry of Trade and Industry. It's great to have you all here. I mean, I was smiling when I saw you mentioned that they need technical support. I mean, what kind of technical support do we need to cook food for people to eat, really?
Excellent.
So,
Well, first and foremost, food is a very sensitive thing in the sense that it must be prepared in a very hygienic way, and it must also be served in such a way that people really enjoy eating. And so the technical support we're talking about here is the fact that the health and safety aspect of food preparation is very, very important. And many of our SMEs do not have that knowledge to which enables them to be able to prepare the food in a way that will make sure it doesn't get contaminated right from the time they go and buy maybe the ingredients, the way they have to keep the ingredients, and even in mixing the ingredients in the right proportions. All these are very, very important when it comes to the know-how in what.
And the essence of this is to also improve their earnings, because when food is prepared under hygienic conditions, you are sure that more people will like to patronize you.
Some people develop confidence, actually, knowing that it's safe. Food is bought from the traditional caterers is safe, and therefore they will be more confident.
Kofi, you from the World Bank, I know that at the heart of all of this is empowering people to get jobs, and that also means a kind of fixing of the economy, because if many people are absorbed in informal sectors of this type, then it means that they get jobs, they have something to live with, and something to look after their families. Is this a correct approach of economic recovery or repairing the economy? I'm trying to tie this into the fundamental issues that we are facing in our economy, really.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for having us here. Essentially, the bank is an association. Ghana is part of this association, and what we tend to do is to help members of the association address economic development issues. So if you identify specific areas where you want to improve, this is when we come in and we discuss. We have some knowledge across the world, and so we try to bring some of the experiences to government. So it's a partnership, and once we establish that relationship and determine that this is where you want to go and this is where we can advise you on how to do it, then we come in with the funds. The
recipient country just takes over, right? Or,
essentially,
they owns the project.
They are supposed to own the project from day one, and so we do have certain criteria that we go through to ensure that you do have the requisite capacity to deliver that project before we give it to you to start. But when we give it to you already, we understand that it's part of a framework for your development. So not just the private sector development aspects of it, but including infrastructure, health, education. So it's almost like a value chain that we go through to make sure that ultimately we get to the end and the country achieves its objectives.
And Francis, I guess that the essence of all our discussion today is also based on the fact that there's no running away from the fact that these are difficult times. Taxes are increasing and people are finding daily livelihoods difficult to come about. So from the project perspective, when you select a particular thing, let's say this chop bar we've just seen, what inspires you to select a particular project for support under this program?
Okay. Basically, we're looking at interventions or projects that add value and also enhances what we call productivity, and then translates into what? Incomes, and additionally what? Jobs. But what we're looking at fundamentally is that we want our SMEs to be able to what? Be competitive, and we want them to be able to gain market share. For us, that is the real issue we're trying to address under this project. Because at the end of the day, if they're able to gain market share, it means more money comes into the country instead of money going out, and then it means you and I become what? Better fed, better clothed, and better housed, and all that kind of thing. Of course, they also create wealth for government to distribute.
I'm told that the Micro, Small Scale and Medium Enterprise Project, MSME, is wrapping up in November.
Yes.
Tell me, what have you done? I mean, what do you have to show as results for all the money you received from the World Bank?
Thank you. Actually, this project looked at a number of interventions or sought to address the challenges that were confronting our small and medium enterprises. And basically, these problems, we all know, we've lived with them over the years, and various governments have tried to address them one way or the other. But under this project, what we sought to do was to provide what one would call an integrated and comprehensive package of assistance to address almost all the problems at the same time.
That's very complicated. You could do to break it down. I mean,
no, we wanted to see that we didn't want to have the normal kind of stand-alone projects, but wanted to have projects which were interlinked, where one intervention or one support complements the other, so that at the end of the day we wholly address the problems and challenges facing our small and medium enterprise.
Okay.
And what actually informs what or who benefits under this project? First, we're looking at primary beneficiaries being the SMEs themselves. Then we're also looking at SME support institutions. And then we're also looking at SME service providers. So basically, this is what the project was trying to do, identify the weaknesses in all these.
And what have you achieved?
What we've achieved, I would say that we've achieved tremendous, impact. First, let's take access to finance. We all know the problem of what we call access to finance, comfort now small and medium enterprises. Now, under this project, we had what we call the partial credit guarantee scheme, where we signed on a bank, which before it came to participate. It participated in this project, was not doing up to $23 million in terms of lending to small and medium enterprises. But after participating in this project, it's doing almost over $128 million to small and medium enterprises. For us, we think it's a very significant achievement. Then when you leave the access to finance, we come to a very critical pillar in private sector development, which is the business development services.
Okay, friends, I'll let you pause. We will roll over your achievements after we've taken a look at the other videos that we have to show. And quickly, you have something to add?
I just wanted to add something to what Francis was saying. Before we get into this support, we do the fundamental analysis to find out what exactly is constraining the SME sector from developing. So the project looked at access to finance, then the business environment, and then also trade facilitating infrastructure. How can we develop them so that they become competitive and not only operate in Ghana but also operate in the sub-region?
And you are satisfied with the assessment?
We are going through it.
Your review.
We're going through it, and so.
Right,
but initial indications are we did some good.
Okay, some good. Now, Ghana is well endowed. I'm sure you all know that we're endowed with natural resources, and agriculture accounts for roughly 1/4 of GDP and employs more than half of the workforce, mainly small landholders. Now, this can improve through innovative methods of agro-processing. Let's take a look again at this short video, which provides a motivation for what can be achieved in the sector.
Yajumano Yashasi Awojade Nansana Business Development Fund Baye Edino Naha Naneo. The Sansanya product Bacopen and Yenti near ye products are room yellow near ye cream in a soup. The soap in the higher and near. And the Saoka baby are free ya, the Duabahaya, a free bra Business Development Fund. Other boy and my and Conta. I was a sabre near you see you go so I see nine. But I had near my hangina. I am one yard tra for the Mayano, the Namso, Amaya PPC.
Under the BDS Fund, we are seeking to build the capacity of our small and medium enterprises in so many areas, more importantly, to deal with challenges and problems they encounter in their business operations. And what we do is that we pay for the cost. We pay 50% of the cost of contracting a technical expert or a consultant to work with the SMEs to address whatever challenges they are facing.
First, now the Bunsiana na Sisa, Sisa, said you, but she will try you na the Ashisha, no Kasa Apaki, and the Ashes Colors. First, now you share Business Development Fund, I know our advice, you could tell Nipa Bay at the 9 Bayensia, but they say Nipa you could know, you can more and actually. Business Development Fund, I can't share no bachelor any day. ayade a aboa ama adwuma no agina yi pa bibi ti say your financial enema ho yiskasem ho enam so ama ye no sesia no ye ba ha ba ye mfie kakra ni so ya san anya sika bio a ye di si another factory a new factory bra a nema igumo so no ni nyina agina akwankyere pa ye free business development fund for them.
Chuchu Industries from beginning, we had 3 products: Chuchu Natural Beauty Soap, Chuchu Cream, and Chuchu Balm. These were the 3 products that we started with before we come into contact with BDF. After we were introduced to BDF, Chuchu Industries can now boast of 12 different product lines, be it Chuchu Tea, Chuchu White Tea, Chuchu Hair Conditioner. We also have Chuchu Shower Gel. We have Chuchu Hair Food. We have Chuchu Skin Toner. We have the shampoo. And then we also have Chuchu Antibacterial. That's Chuchu ABS. And it's not end there. We have a lot more and more products that are yet to be introduced after we run our laboratory test. And we are convinced that it can be used by the market or it will be beneficial to our clients.
No question we want to say. It's a me experience amenyanti. Business Development Fund akwankyere no. Sanka omaimu one more year marketing kete said ya start no no. Kawa wo kyere won sa amayen a kababo amama ni mu asetran no ayemre ade amayen. We ni ade aye be stress on koso no nya ni sa amayen. Na by boss obakufo didi a aboten so nye de. Me de manya ho fa so bebre. Nti wonu mu aka so no. On hwe na omo awe sa afa.
Welcome back. I'll take a few of your comments and then we will quickly move through the other videos that we have in the documentary package. Lawson Akwete Eric Marcelinos, you say that, please, the pupil teachers are not paid for a year now, so please tell the government to increase their wage or the gear. I don't know, to shift the gear. I guess that's what you're saying. Well, that's good, your comment. Nicholas Boama says, I hope next year by this time there'll be a lot of work in the country. And Ronald Rima Andokwo, you say that we hope so. Spencer Yaukumi Kingsford says, we have no choice. The battle is a lot. So thank you. We'll end there and we'll come back. So Kofi and Francis, we saw the other one. And Francis, you were talking about what you have achieved so far. And I asked the question whether the World Bank is impressed. And the indications are that they're impressed. Yeah. So as we engage, what are you telling people who have ambitions of perhaps starting small-scale businesses or sourcing support from your unit? I don't know how the people can just walk in to access support.
Yeah, okay. We do not provide support directly. We do it through the established, what you call institutions and so on.
I see.
And what we try to do was to build their capacity to enable them deliver on their mandate. Yeah, but for anybody who wants to go into entrepreneurship, I would say that it's worthwhile. And of course, there may be challenges, but what I've seen from experience is that if you're really motivated by a business idea and you persist and persevere in the face of challenges, you tend to break through. Let me use that word. You tend to break through. So I would encourage them to look for institutions on the ground which can help them to realize their business ideas, turn these ideas into proper income generating activities on the ground, which we call a business. Yeah.
Right, I'll leave you out quickly. We'll take the second video. Non-traditional exports. The country's earnings from non-traditional exports declined marginally by 4% this year to $2.3 billion compared to the 2.4 that was recorded in 2011. Although there was a marginal decline, the 2011 earnings were the highest in the country for several years, which is an indication that this is a pretty much important sector. Let's take a look at something from the World Bank and we'll have a discussion afterwards.
Ghana Export Promotion Authority is a national institution under the Ministry of Trade and Industry mandated to promote and develop exports with particular reference or priority in the non-traditional export sector of the economy. When the World Bank with IDA project on micro, small and medium enterprises was launched, then there was the need to ensure that this support will help our exporters. They were not all that competitive enough, and therefore they will need some support.
We have been able to help the National Export Training School develop relevant models that are very practical and competency-based, and that will enhance the skills of all those who go through the school to be able to understand what it means to be an exporter.
The models were export capacity audit, export market research, export marketing strategy, export marketing communication, and export marketing skill. With the support from the World Bank, we realized that a lot of them had challenges, but it was made known to them. The advantage or the benefit was that we were able to know that each company which participated in the project, shortcomings were laid bare.
And we believe that this again is going to affect tremendously a lot of our exporters, improve their skills, give them the needed knowledge to enable them understand how to compete in the global marketplace.
Evinet Ghana Limited is a food processing company. We dry tropical fruits and vegetables for exports. I approached Export Promotion, and they gave us consultants who came to interview us and selected some of us to be part of the program. After the training, we came back to implement it in our workplaces. And I realized that with the HACCP, our production processing has improved tremendously. Our sales had gone up.
My name is Godwin Delaya Demadodi, Managing Director of Praise Export Services. The company started in October 1994. As a result of my schooling in the UK and then seeing the way Ghanaian products were displayed on the market or presented on the UK market, I felt I had a need, or I saw the urgency to come back home and then formulate products and then present them in a more professional way. So when I came back, I saw training from Export Promotion Council, who actually guided us to bring this dream into fruition. So today our company is producing and exporting to UK, US, mainland Europe, and Australia.
My name is Mark Safanu, Marketing Officer for Praise Export Services Limited. We are into three main categories of products. These are the oils, the canned products, and then the powdered products. With the oils, we deal in palm oil, regular, and then palm oil zomi, as well as palm kernel oil. With the canned products, we have palm cream, which is known as the palm soup base or abenquine in the local dialect. And then we have eggplants, which are canned, also known as aubergine in Europe. With the powdered products, we have banku mix, we have kokonte powder, we have fermented maize powder, fermented cassava powder, we have gari, we have tuo diehu, cereal mix, and hausa cocoa, as well as other powdered products on the line. With Export Promotion Authority, I would like to say they have been very helpful to us in the way we do our things, particularly with the export marketing schools that have been organized. And these schools have really enhanced our knowledge with regards to market entry and market access and the way we do business in these markets. Apart from that, our activities have been very much acknowledged by Export Promotion. We have received so far about 7 awards, and And these awards really come to enhance the goodwill of the company. This gives the customer the confidence and the trust to do business with Praise Export. And for this, we are very much grateful.
The future of the project, or what GP think that the project need to look at, is how to support these companies after they have realized their weakness in these three sectors, for them to produce quality product which will be accepted by the market.
Welcome back. A few of your comments. I'll say we are. You say that the guinea fowls have gone to Burkina. So what else? Sada trees dead. Oh, driver, go slow. It's getting late. So change from first to fifth. That is very funny. And Baba Musa Tamale says, jobs provide some kind of security for the population. The devil's workshop is in the idle mind, and SMEs will really help improve the living conditions of many Ghanaians, particularly those who are business inclined. All right, so we'll pause here and we'll come back to the studio. So, Kofi, let me come to you. We've seen a trend we're discussing that. The trend appears to be that there are certain areas which, as a country, we have comparative advantage. Do you think the way forward is to focus on strengthening these areas?
Absolutely. It's it's a global competitive environment, and so for countries, the idea is to focus more on where you have a comparative advantage. And then for the private sector, they have to have a competitive advantage. So this is where the focus for the non-traditional exports in Ghana has been. And what needs to be done is really keep focusing on removing the constraints that will allow them to grow more. And this is what the MSME sought to do. Try to help improve the access to finance, try to help them create access to markets. For instance, they need to be standardized goods. The goods have to be standardized. They meet certain health requirements before they can go into Europe or any other places. And I think with something like this, probably the entry into such businesses is not so expensive. And so you tend to have more people be able to get in there. And then those are the areas to where you can also grow the company and employ more people. And I think this is where, if the country focuses on areas like this, and really you have to be tenacious. You have to keep doing it, because you run into problems left and right. But you don't quit, you keep doing it, and then you realize that, you have come to stay. I mean, sometimes you have to look at, let's say, the palm oil market in the whole world. Probably it's about $10 billion. Just think how much it's going to have. So if there's a $10 billion market and you have maybe only 200 million, that means you have to do what it takes to get to 1 billion. And this is what the MSME is.
Talking about problems, and since the project started, what have been some of the major complaints that have come from SME people from the small scale industry?
I mean, it's there have been issues about awareness, or we didn't know much about this. And so what we tend to do is work with the government and say, listen, there are enough funds for you to go out and create the awareness. The issue is this: Mr. Kusi's outfit, really, they coordinate project implementation, but you do have agencies that have been targeted or selected to be the ones who actually implement. Okay, and so sometimes pushing them becomes a bit difficult. But what we try to do is have a project steering committee with the minister in charge that tries to, so to say, lay down the law to ensure that, so awareness creation had been a problem. And sometimes the criteria for maybe accessing the BDS fund, could be because it was you have to pay 50% and then we'll subsidize. And so for those who couldn't afford it, that was a bit difficult.
So, Mr. Kusi, have you done anything in particular to ensure that the problems that we are raising have been minimized or reduced for SMEs?
Yeah, in terms of awareness creation, I think during the second phase of the MSME project, we made it a condition that the fund managers did achieve a certain performance, outreach, in terms of certain regions which were not really prominent during the first phase. In fact, there were some regions where we never even got any application whatsoever, and we felt that this was not good enough. At times, the argument people give is that, but there isn't much happening there, and that's why we said that is the more reason a project like this must be brought to the people so that something could happen there.
Okay, so you're impressed with how much you've been helping to eliminate some of these problems.
Yes.
I need to put that on record. Yeah, well, the World Bank group-funded micro, small, and medium enterprises project also provides support to Ghana's creative industries through the Aid to Artisans (ATAG). Let's watch this.
The name of my business is Accent and Art. It was established in May 2000. The nature of our business is generally we work closely with a lot of construction professionals. So we're into very artistic ironmongery. The main line of our business is regular proofing, balustrades, gates, furniture, and just generally commissions for quality ironwork. Bulk of our customers, basically, we work or cater for professionals in the construction industry, architects, interior designers, private homeowners who are looking for very fine quality metalwork.
We pay 50% of the cost of contracting a technical expert or a consultant to work with the SMEs to address whatever challenges they are facing.
I heard about the BDS fund. Interestingly enough, I was doing an Empretech course, and one of my consultants made mention of a fund at that point in time that was catering to small business owners that needed business solutions. So I applied for the BDS fund and I qualified, and some of the scope of services we enjoyed was financial management. We hired a financial consultant that looked at generally our whole financial outlook. We also accessed legal services. We had an HR specialist coming in to look at our HR requirements. We also had a marketing consultant doing a 3-year marketing strategy for us. We accessed a branding and marketing specialist. I mean, the list was endless. I think in all we accessed about 15 different types of consultancy requirements, which we needed at that point in time to support our growth.
The project was to help make small and medium enterprises in Ghana more competitive. It was to help them generate more employment. And this was to be done by resolving issues that has bedeviled them.
I must say that the BDS Fund has taken our business from a point at which we were struggling to a stage where now I can look back and say that we have systems that are working, systems that really has put a lot of things in place that, you know, as a business owner, without the BDS Fund, I would say that we would not be where we are now.
It is the hope of the project that this kind of intervention will help our small and medium enterprises appreciate the need to bring in technical experts to address problems and difficulties that they face in running their business on a day-to-day basis.
Well, the textile industry, which was once the leader in Ghana's industrial sector, has been declining over the years due largely to trade liberalization policies and programs. These have made it almost impossible for Ghana's textile products to compete with cheap imports from Asia. But indeed, opportunities exist for those willing to take risks into the garment industry. And of course, the World Bank has some support programs there as well.
Garments Export Limited is a clothing or apparel manufacturing company, and we produce garments of all sorts, including accessories, for export to the U.S. One of our main challenges was making international buyers aware that we had such a factory that could produce clothing in mass for export.
The project set out to see whether we can help small and medium enterprises create more employment, whether we can help small and medium enterprises become more competitive so they can trade in the global world.
The MSME project sponsored my company and other garment manufacturing companies to attend trade shows in the US and in Germany. And that has not only been for my company, but for other garment factories. And this has brought exposure to what we were about, bringing in some orders, as well as supporting us to bring in technical experts from Sri Lanka and from Mauritius. Now, under these technical experts, we've been able to produce quality garments which have been exported to the U.S., to Walgreens and CVS pharmacies, and to Ross stores.
The private sector in Ghana is composed of a large segment of small and medium enterprises. And hence, our decision to support the sector in order that they can become more competitive, in order that they can generate more employment.
We had interruptions to the power supply because it was inadequate for this complex, and the MSME project has been able to have a transformer installed here, and now we have constant supply, which is very, very important for us to be able to meet deadlines and, to carry our production without any hitches and costs.
The MSME project has 4 components: access to markets, access to information, entrepreneurship development, and then improving the trade facilitation infrastructure.
We have orders from potential buyers, but we don't have enough skilled workers, and we think that MSME could help sponsor this. There's a cost of electricity, there's the cost of materials and other accessories that we use during training programs. And we think that MSME should be able to sponsor these costs. It's so important.
Well, if you're an SME person, you may have encountered one problem or the other in your attempt to register your company. But a lot of transformation has gone on in the process of registering companies, for which it's now much, much easier and faster to register your company.
Registrar General's Department is a department under the Ministry of Justice. It was established in 1961. And the core function of the Registrar General's Department is to register businesses, administration of estates, register of trademarks, marriages, etc. It's the first point of contact for business registration in Ghana.
Under the project, we set out to see how easy it is for SMEs who wanted to register their business, the time it takes them to get that registration through, and a few other things.
And until 2004, Registrar General's Department were manually registering businesses. And it takes a longer time to register a business or even conduct a search for business registration.
At the time this project was commissioned, the number of days it took to register a business was actually 82 days. And under the project, we're supposed to bring this to about 32 days. But I want to say that within 2 years, under the business environment component of this project, which was actually administered within the private sector development strategy, we're able to bring it down to 5 days. Now you can register your business within 5 days. And this is because we were able to support the Registrar General's Department to computerize most of his operations. And that is one significant achievement.
So, with the intervention of donor support and the MSME project, the department's business registration was computerized. And searches which used to be done within 2 to 3 days, with the help of the computerization of the business registration, you can do a search within 5 seconds. And again, it has also helped us to shorten the number of days of business registration. For instance, the sole proprietorship, now we can do it within 3 days, maximum 5 days. When it comes to limited liability companies, it has reduced drastically to 14 days, and now it has come to 10 days maximum. And as I said, it depends on the assistance in the form of IT equipment, computers, printers, etc. that we receive from the donor partners and through the MSME project. And our future goals is to register online so that anybody anywhere in the world can log into our system, conduct a search, and then can register automatically. The government is also working on e-payments so that applicants will also be allowed to make payments online by using their Visa cards here and there. This is where we are aiming towards, and I know in the near future we'll get there.
It is easier registering a company this time. Formerly, we've been using the manual and the IBM typewriters, which is very long process. But this time, after searching and vetting, we just keyed into the computer.
As a young entrepreneur, I was afraid to go through the hassle and tussle of getting my company registered. But after a few consultations with colleagues, I took the bold step. To my amazement, I had my company registered in 4 days. Here is my certificate.
The MSME project has been a great benefit to us as far as business automation is concerned. And we appreciate all the benefits that we have received from them.
Well, welcome back to the studio. So quickly, Francis, I need to get a better understanding from all the videos we've watched. It just re-emphasizes the point we have been making, that it's better we improve the areas where we have comparative advantage. We saw the creative arts industry. Yeah. We've seen those who are working in cooking, the garment industry, and even support to the Registrar General's Department to fast-track the registration process. Tell me, under the current economic conditions, really, I need to know whether SMEs have been particularly constrained or hammered down with particular problems which you could discuss with us.
I think for many SMEs, the cost of what you call credit is a real serious constraint. You see, because credit, or let's say capital, as we all know, is a factor of production. And if you want to be competitive, you are paying, let's say, 26% for your capital. Mm-hmm. Somebody is paying 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%. Already, you find yourself at a disadvantage because you're going to be selling on the same market. He is able to what? Sell his product cheaper,
right?
Because he's getting capital, a very important production, factor of production, at a very cheap rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Govi, I need your closing remarks on everything we have seen, and in just about 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, I mean, as previously, are we impressed? I think we've done some good. We will have an independent evaluator also come in to see if indeed how we set out to help government if we need to achieve something. We may not have achieved everything, but at least we're closer. So there's still a lot to be done, and I'm hoping that the collaboration with the bank and the government, will and the private
much
sector.
more results.
Right, absolutely.
Right. Thank you very much, Kofi and Francis, for making time with us, and thanks to you for joining us here on Joy News Exclusive.